All right, today we're going to look at section 15-1 on page 669. We're going to look at explain 1 and explain 2. I'm going to go through those with you guys and get you ready for some practice. Now, from one thing you will notice, I did get a new pen for my computer, so it should write a little bit nicer than what it's been doing. Now, you should also notice that geometric sequences so far, what you should know is that they multiply. We take our term and multiply it by the same thing every time to get the next term. In contrast, what we did before, we had the arithmetic sequences where we added the same thing every time. Geometric implies multiply, right? So once you know it's geometric, you know you're going to multiply. If you're adding the same thing every time, that's arithmetic. All right. Now, to find terms and extend the sequence, if we start with a few terms, if I give you the first 3 terms and I ask you to find the 4th term, for anything where n is greater than 2, so n just means our term number, all right? So for any term number greater than or equal to 2, the nth term, so f of n, that's the term number we want, the term we want. All right. That nth term, or the term we want, is our previous term. All right, and that f of n minus 1, that just means the previous term, like we've looked at before. The f of n minus 1 is previous term, that's all it means. All right, and we multiply that by the common ratio, which is r. So to find the term, whatever term you want, take the previous term, multiply it by r. So if you want the 5th term, you have to take the 4th term. If we want the 5th term, n is 5, take the 4th term, because n minus 1, 5 minus 1 would be 4. That's the previous term, multiply it by r. All right. For example, looking at the first one, you have to find the common ratio for each sequence and then use that to find the next 3 terms. Okay, start by taking 2 terms and you divide them. Make sure you take the second term, divide it by the first term. 12 divided by 6, that is 2. Now, it would work with any 2 terms. All right, you could do 24 over 12, that's 2. 48 divided by 24, that's 2. It's a common ratio, so it should be the same every time. So for this sequence, f of 1, our first term is 6. f of 2, our second term is 12. f of 3 is 24, and so on. So if we want the next 3 terms, we have the first 4, we want the 5th, 6th, and 7th. So for f of 4 is 48, so f of 5 is 48 times 2, which is 96. All right, our 6th term, take our 5th term and multiply it by 2. 96 times 2, 192. And for our 7th term, take the previous term, 192, multiply it by 2 to get 384. Okay, for the next one, part B, 100, 50, 25, 12.5. Notice that these are decreasing. So take the 2 terms, 50, and the one before it, over 100, 50 over 100. All right, 50 divided by 100 is 0.5, or 1/2. So the common ratio is 0.5. All right, so as we go and go through this and find this, f of 1 is 100, f of 2 is 50, f of 3 is 25, f of 4 is 12.5. So if we want our fifth term, we take our fourth term, 12.5, multiply it by 0.5, so that would give us 6.25. All right, we take that 6.25 and multiply it by 0.5. That's going to give us 3.125. Okay, and for our seventh term, 3.125. Okay, take 3.125, multiply it by 0.5. That should give us 1.6 or 5625. All right, so the next three terms, 6.25, 3.125, and 1.5625. All right. So let's look at the reflect. If we know the common ratio is 3, and we know the fourth term is 54, to find the fifth term, all right, f of 5 is f of 4 times 3. All right, similarly, f of 4 is f of 3 times 3. All right, so if we want to know what f of 5 is, and we know f of 4 is 54, f of 5 is 54 times 3. All right, since we know what f of 4 is, that's 54, is f of 3, our third term, times 3. So if we wanted to find our fifth term, we multiply 54 by 3, 162. If we want to find our third term, we take 54, we divide by 3, and that gives us 18. All right. Try the year turn problems, numbers 5 and 6, and we will go over them in just a minute. All right. So to figure out the next three terms, find the common ratio. 20 divided by 5 is 4. We can also check 80 divided by 20 is 4, so our common ratio is 4. So now 320 times 4 is 1280. 1280 times 4 is 1280 times 4 is 5,120, and 5,120 times 4 is 20,480. Okay, now if you look at number 6, find that common ratio. -3 divided by 9. Negative 3 over 9 is negative 1/3. All right, notice that common ratio is negative. So to find our next three terms, we multiply by that common ratio. So we have our fourth term is negative 1/3 times negative 1/3, and that is 1 over 9. 1 over 9 times negative 1/3, and that is negative 1 over 27. And negative 1 over 27 times negative 1 over 3 is positive 1 over 81. All right, so in this one, when we have our common ratio is negative, our numbers are going to alternate between negative and positive. So our next term is 1 over 9, then negative 1 over 27, and positive 1 over 81. Another way to think about this, instead of it being multiplied by negative 1/3, it could be the same as dividing by negative 3, if that helps you. All right, 9 divided by negative 3 is negative 3. Okay, the problems I want you guys to work on for this is going to be page 674. And we will go 1 through 10, but we will do the odds. All right, page 674, 1 through 10 odds. I will also be making a homework help video where I will work out some of the problems. If you guys need to see some again, it will be on the YouTube channel.